Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something a little different, something you might not expect.
Oh,
The history of Arabic in medical education.
interesting.
Yeah. It's a fascinating story, and it kind of challenges, the usual narrative about, the origins of science and medicine.
It does.
Yeah. So the source material for this deep dive is this academic paper that really kind of digs into this topic,
Hmm.
especially during the time of the Ottoman Empire.
Okay.
You might think of science as being, tied to Western languages, but,
Mm.
this deep dive reveals a much more intricate story.
It really does.
Yeah.
For centuries, the language of scholarship in science and medicine was actually Greek,
Oh, wow.
largely because of the influence of the Roman Empire.
So the Romans loved Greek, huh?
Yeah.
So what happened? Where did Arabic come into the picture?
Well, as the Roman Empire declined, so did the use of Greek.
Yep.
And this really created a gap in the transmission of knowledge, especially scientific knowledge.
So there's this knowledge vacuum in Yinip. What happens next,
This is where things get really interesting.
right?
During the Islamic Golden Age, scholars across the vast Islamic world began translating those ancient Greek texts into Arabic.
So Arabic became like the bridge that kept this ancient knowledge alive.
Exactly.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is. And it wasn't just about preservation, it was about building upon that foundation.
Oh, okay.
Arabic became the language of scientific discovery and innovation.
Hmm.
In fact, the paper mentions that even in parts of Europe like Andalusia,
Oh, right.
in modern-day Spain,
Wow.
Arabic was the language of cutting-edge science.
Wow. Imagine that Arabic being used for groundbreaking scientific discoveries in Europe.
Yes.
It really flips the script on how we usually think about, the history of science.
It does, and this brings us to the Ottoman Empire.
Okay.
Now, while they were undoubtedly a major power, they didn't immediately force Turkish as the main language of science and scholarship.
So Arabic continued to be important under Ottoman rule.
Yes.
Why is that?
Especially in administration and higher education. You have to remember that the Ottomans ruled over a diverse empire,
Oh, right.
a
Yeah.
tapestry of cultures and languages.
Yeah.
Using Arabic for scholarship created a common ground for intellectuals across their vast territory.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
It's a good reminder that the history of language is often tied to, the ebb and flow of empires and political power.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But as we move into the 19th century, we see another shift happening,
Okay.
fueled by the rise of nationalism.
And I'm guessing this shift involves a move away from Arabic.
Yes, the paper highlights the story of Muhammad Ali in Egypt,
Okay.
a ruler who was deeply committed to modernizing his nation.
Hmm.
He was inspired by Napoleon's invasion of Egypt
Oh, wow.
and the technological and military prowess of Europe.
So he saw firsthand how Europe was advancing and wanted Egypt to catch up.
Precisely, and this led to some major reforms,
Okay.
including a focus on European languages for science and medicine.
Oh, wow.
It was seen as essential for modernization.
It's fascinating how the desire to progress sometimes leads to rediscovering the past, or in this case, looking to other cultures for inspiration.
It is, but this shift towards European languages had a profound impact on institutions like the Al-Khazar Al-Aini Medical School in Cairo.
Yeah.
It was originally established with Arabic as the primary language of instruction,
Wow.
but under British influence, it eventually transitioned to English.
So we see this back and forth from Greek to Arabic and then back to European languages.
Right.
It makes you wonder if something gets lost in translation, both literally and figuratively,
Yeah.
when these shifts occur.
It's a valid point, and it brings us to another major turning point:
Okay.
the decline of the Ottoman Empire and the emergence of new Arab nation-states.
This sounds like the start of a whole new chapter in the story of Arabic and medicine.
It is.
What happened next?
Well, with the fall of the Ottoman Empire and this rise of Arab nationalism, you see a real powerful resurgence of interest in Arabic.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't just about language, it was about reclaiming a cultural identity.
So in a way, this renewed focus on Arabic was a way of asserting independence and kind of celebrating their heritage.
Exactly.
Okay. The academic paper we're looking at specifically mentions the establishment of the Syrian University in Damascus
Okay.
in 1923.
Oh, wow.
The founders were adamant that Arabic would be the primary language of instruction,
Wow.
even in the medical school.
That's a bold move, especially considering, the decades of European language dominance in higher education.
It was, but it speaks to the determination to revitalize Arabic as a language of scholarship and science.
Yeah, I imagine there were significant challenges in making the switch back to Arabic.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you even begin to do that?
Think about it. They were essentially rebuilding an entire system of medical education.
Right.
One of the biggest hurdles was the lack of medical textbooks in Arabic.
Oh, yeah. It's hard to imagine trying to learn complex medical concepts without the proper resources in your own language.
It was a huge undertaking, and it wasn't just about textbooks.
Right.
They needed qualified professors who were fluent in Arabic
Of course.
and could effectively teach advanced medical concepts. Remember, many of the leading medical professionals at the time had been trained in European languages.
Right. So it was about creating resources, training a new generation of instructors,
Yes,
and really shifting the entire academic landscape.
exactly. They had to create new terminology, translate existing texts,
Wow.
and essentially rebuild the infrastructure for Arabic-based medical education.
That's a monumental task. Did they succeed?
They did, and the Syrian university became a model for other institutions across the region.
Oh, wow.
More and more universities started adopting Arabic as their primary language of instruction.
It's inspiring to see how they reclaimed their linguistic heritage and made Arabic a viable language for modern medical education.
It is.
But this resurgence of Arabic in medicine, did it face any pushback?
There were definitely challenges.
Like what?
One of the biggest was, and continues to be, keeping up with the rapid advancements in the medical field.
Oh, right.
Think about it, new discoveries, technologies, treatments.
Yeah.
It's a constant flow of information, and a lot of this is still published primarily in English.
So how do you bridge that gap? How do you make sure that Arabic-speaking medical professionals aren't left behind?
It's an ongoing effort. A lot of work goes into translating and creating up-to-date medical resources in Arabic.
Hmm?
There are specialized dictionaries, online databases, and journals dedicated to making sure that vital information is accessible to Arabic speakers.
That's incredible. It speaks to the dedication of those who are committed to making sure that Arabic has a prominent place in the world of medicine.
It does, and it highlights the importance of language, not just as a means of communication,
Right.
but as a gateway to knowledge and understanding.
And access to that knowledge can be incredibly empowering, especially when it comes to, health and well-being.
Absolutely. And it's not just about keeping medical professionals informed.
Yeah.
It's also about making medical information accessible to the public.
That makes sense. Everyone should have the ability to understand their health and make informed decisions.
Exactly. And for many people in the Arab world, that means having access to reliable and understandable medical information in Arabic.
Right.
We're talking about everything from pamphlets and websites
Wow.
to even TV shows and podcasts that discuss health issues.
Wow. It's amazing to see how these efforts are bridging the gap between complex medical knowledge and everyday people.
Yeah.
It's like democratizing access to information, isn't it?
It is, and it speaks to the power of language to empower and inform.
So where do things stand today with Arabic in medicine? What's the overall picture?
Well, Arabic is widely used in medical schools across the Arab world.
Okay.
And while English remains a major language in scientific research and international publications,
Sure.
there's a growing movement to increase the use of Arabic in those spheres as well.
That's really encouraging to hear. It sounds like the legacy of those pioneers who fought to revive Arabic in medicine is continuing to have a real impact.
It is, and it highlights the ongoing evolution of Arabic as a language of science and scholarship.
Yeah.
It's a dynamic process.
After this deep dive into the history of Arabic in medicine, what stands out to you as the most significant takeaway?
For me, it's the resilience and adaptability of Arabic. Despite facing so many obstacles from the decline of empires
Yeah.
to the pressures of colonialism,
No.
Arabic has continuously found a way to thrive in the medical field.
It's a story of perseverance and innovation.
It is.
And it's not over yet.
Right. With all the current efforts to promote Arabic in scientific research, education, and public discourse, the story of Arabic in medicine is still being written.
Speaking of which, the paper we've been discussing mentions a few individuals who were instrumental in this revival.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about them?
Absolutely. The paper highlights individuals like Dr. Hosni Sabah and Dr. Shaukat El-Shadi, who were among the first professors at the Syrian University's medical school.
Oh, wow.
Both were fluent in Arabic and deeply committed to teaching medicine in their native language.
It's remarkable to think about what they accomplished, building a medical curriculum from scratch, translating textbooks, coining new terminology.
Yeah.
It must have been an incredible undertaking.
Imagine the dedication it took to create an entire medical education system in Arabic, especially when resources were limited.
Right.
They were true pioneers, paving the way for generations of Arabic-speaking medical professionals.
Their story really highlights the determination to not just revive the language, but also reclaim a sense of ownership over scientific knowledge.
Yes.
It wasn't just about translation, it was
Yeah.
about empowerment.
Precisely. It was about asserting the importance of Arabic in the world of science and scholarship.
Ah.
And this commitment persisted even in the face of political challenges.
Yeah, the paper mentions that even during the French Mandate of Syria
Oh, right.
in the 1920s,
Yes.
the push for Arabic in medicine continued.
Even though French was the official language of the mandate. The Syrian university remained steadfast in its commitment to Arabic.
It is amazing.
And that commitment had a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Other institutions in the region followed suit,
Oh, wow.
establishing their own Arabic language medical programs.
It's almost like this wave of change was sweeping across the region, reclaiming Arabic's place in medicine.
It was.
It makes you realize how language can be such a powerful symbol of identity and self-determination.
Absolutely. And it's encouraging to see that today there's a resurgence of interest in the history of Arabic science and medicine.
Really?
Yes, scholars are re-examining the contributions of Islamic thinkers to these fields, rediscovering a wealth of knowledge that was often overlooked in the past.
It's exciting to think about all the insights and discoveries that are being brought to light.
It is.
It's a reminder that the history of science is a global tapestry woven with threads from many different cultures.
Precisely recognizing that interconnectedness is crucial for a more complete and accurate understanding of science. And the story of Arabic in medicine is a vital part of that tapestry.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you hope our listeners take away from this exploration?
I think it's important to remember that the history of science isn't a straight line. It's a tapestry of interconnected threads, each with its own story to tell.
Right.
And the story of Arabic in medicine is particularly rich and vibrant, highlighting the resilience of a language, a culture, and a commitment to knowledge.
It's a story that's still being written, and with all the current efforts to promote Arabic in research education and public discourse, the legacy of this journey continues to shape the future of medicine.
Yes, it does.
It's been incredible exploring this often overlooked chapter in the history of science. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.